Yes, well, I'm going to say that January 6th was the worst. Jesse Lee Peterson, I tell him to his face, he's a hypocrite.
If that Hunter Biden laptop story
have any arguments against that right now,
and I want to see how it goes. I think initially, the very first time you contacted me was about Jesse Lee Peterson.
Yes.
You
We can
contacted
discuss that too.
Well, that right there is actually what I want to discuss with you, but I'll go ahead and discuss whatever you want to discuss first. And I will let you know this. I don't trust politicians on the left or the right. Hopefully people understand that part. I say it often on my channel, but I have my ideas of what's right and what's wrong, and I go off of that. I try to allow my own personal experiences along with the newfound information I've been coming across that's been shared with me by people who support what I'm doing, and sometimes the information that's shared with me can be kind of biased based off of what they want me to see. So I'm here. I have you here today because you have certain answers that you have certain questions that you want answered by me, and you have things that you want to say yourself. But before we even have a conversation, would you mind introducing yourself just to let me know? Just to let anyone who sees this know who you are and the whole point of our conversation.
Okay, my name is William. I've always been a solo black activist ever since I was in high school because I was at the beginning of the civil rights movement, And I've always been a solo black activist. And my slogan is, if you're right, I'm with you day and night. If you're wrong, I'm gone.
If you're right, I'm with you day and night. If you're wrong, I'm gone. All right.
That's right.
Now, right and wrong is based off of what metrics?
Well, it's going to be so. This is going to be based off of my belief, and what my belief is. I don't believe in burning, looting, destroy. I believe in a peaceful protest. That's what I believe in. Now, when you
Okay.
start doing all this breaking in and all that stuff, I'm gone. I'm not in that.
You're not in
That's
that.
what I consider my right and wrong.
All right. So when you say you're into peaceful protests, and you're not
That's right.
into the breaking in and all the other stuff that goes
The
along with it when it
burning, the
becomes
violence, and
criminal.
all that. No, I'm not into that.
All right. So with that said, what do you think was worse, Jan 6 or the riot, the protest by Black Lives Matter and Antifa? That happened
Well,
two
I would.
months before. I mean that happened 6 months before Jan 6.
Yes. Well, I'm going to say that January 6th was the worst,
All
in
right,
my
why would you say
opinion,
that? Why would you say that?
because our Constitution was attacked. Constitution of the United States was attacked. And matter of fact, the people that was up there doing all the insurrection and everything, they was attacking their own Constitution, breaking in and burning. That was a different way to settle that. I mean, it's all right to protest, but when you go, just what I just got through speaking about, when you go start breaking in things, beating people and spraying tear gas and going on just because you have a disagreement or different opinion, that's wrong. I don't care who do it. I don't care if it's Black Lives Matter or whoever do it. It's wrong. That's no
Now,
way to settle anything.
I agree with you. 100%. Sometimes protests get a little dangerous. I get it, and that's how I go. But based off of those protests, you say that Jan 6 was wrong because they were attacking the Constitution. Now, being that
Well, I'm
you
saying both of them are wrong. You asked me which one was the worst, and I
well,
was telling you which one was the worst that I feel was the worst.
okay. Now,
Because these,
do you usually represent the little man, or do you usually represent the Constitution in your own stances? And I'm talking about way back in high school when you very first started up to this point.
the little man,
The little man, the
if
man
you,
that owns businesses, the man that goes out there and work day to day and takes care of his family. Have vehicles, have a company, a way to feed their families the right way. The little guy, us. the people who pay
Most
taxes,
definitely,
or do
most
you?
definitely. I represent them. Most definitely.
So you'll represent them before you would represent the Constitution.
No, I'm not going to say before I would. I represent both.
Okay, which one is most important to you, people or the
They both
Constitution?
they both they both are important.
Nah, you got to pick one, William. You got to
No,
pick one.
I'm saying they both are important.
Okay,
And it all
so
depends on the circumstances. It all depends on the circumstances at the time. Everything is not alike. So it all depends on the circumstances, whether it's big or small.
all right, cool. I can respect that. All right, so do you know what was happening during those protests that I mentioned that's in comparison to Jan 6?
With I didn't see a whole lot of that, but I seen some of it. You know, you talking about with are you talking speaking about Antifa and Black Lives Matter?
I'm talking about yes, I'm talking about both, who both represent
I
the left, and they both represent the left, and they both one hides under the guise of one hides themselves under masks, never show their faces, and most of them are white. That's Antifa, and Black Lives Matter, who are mostly white liberals as well, but a lot of people don't put that out there. But during those protests, regular people like yourself and myself who go out daily and work, we were being attacked on the streets. Some of us were being robbed and killed on the streets. Our businesses were being broken into and burnt up. Churches were being broken into and burnt up. Businesses were being looted. All of the property was being removed, and people were just taking whatever they wanted just for fun, just for the sake of taking it. Now, the little man was being affected. Every single business was affecting families. Each family was being affected negatively. And that goes along with all the people who were being attacked, the cars being flipped over and burned in the streets. And you're saying to me right now that that was no comparison to Jan 6, because Jan 6 were official government buildings and people
no,
were
I didn't say it.
breaking.
Now wait
Hold
a
on
minute. I
one.
didn't
Let
say
me
that it
allow
was
me to
no
finish.
comparison.
Please allow me
Yeah,
to
go ahead.
finish, because
Go ahead.
the different things that I mentioned about the Black Lives Matter protests. All right, things that
Mhm.
you did not see, you were not made abreast. I mean, made aware of that. Well, without assuming, all of the things that I just now named, were you aware of those things happening?
Yes, I was aware of a lot of I heard a lot of things that happened that I didn't see. I seen some of it, but a lot of it
Mhm.
that I didn't see. But I just want to explain the difference and why I think that January 6th was worse.
Okay,
Because the people
hold
go
on. No,
ahead.
don't let's
Yeah.
not jump ahead, because I want to slow walk this thing. You've been wanting to talk about this, so
Mhm.
we're talking about it. So, reason why I asked you about that is because you told me that you have not seen a whole lot when it comes to the negative parts of the Black Lives Matter movement and Antifa
I saw
protests.
enough of it. I
You
saw
oh,
enough of it to know it was negative.
shout out to your grandson. Much love to him for looking out for
Right.
Pop Pop.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Now, first of all, I didn't even say this, but I'm assuming that well, your granddad, you married?
Yes, I am.
How long you been married?
57 years.
That is a blessing, sir. That is a blessing. Would you get married when you was 12?
No, when I was 12, when I was 18.
Oh, okay. Much love to you, man, and to your wife, bro.
Yeah.
First of all, man, I think that's
Left home,
absolutely
left home when I was 17, right after high school. Got out of
right.
high school at 17, left home. 23, I bought my first house. I worked on my job for 36 years. I'm retired and relaxing.
He retired and he's relaxing and he's
And
living
I
the
don't have
life.
and I want to put a little Jesse Lee Peterson in there too. I didn't have no mother issues either.
Oh, okay. So you and your mother get along just fine. You don't, you ain't,
Hey,
you, yeah,
we couldn't do nothing but get along fine because I left home. I got on my own. And if any problem I had, I can't blame nobody but myself.
that's right.
All this
So,
crying and going on about they mother holding them back, man, that's just a bunch of crap. got mother issue. A grown man running around talking about he can't make it because of his mother issues. That's, hey man, that's ridiculous.
It is. It is. I mean, mother issues is real though. I got mother issues. I'm gonna let you know
Okay,
that
but
right now.
but
Okay.
stop you from going forward. That didn't stop you from going forward.
Nothing will stop me from going forward, sir.
Right. I know. Hey, I had my youngest son. He graduated college from Rockhurst College, and
Congratulations to your youngest son.
yeah, and there was a student that went to college with him, one of his classmates. She lost her mother and father. I mean, not. I mean, they wasn't dead, but they both was in the penitentiary. You know. And this girl went ahead and she was the highest in her class.
Jesus.
She was the highest in her class. She got that how you pronounce Mina Colada, whatever it is.
Uh,
I'm not pronouncing it
are you
quite
talking
right.
about the magna cum laude?
There you go. There you go.
The-
Right there. Yeah.
And she got that in college, right? Magna cum laude, and
She
then you
got
got
that and
sign.
she got that in college. She went on when she finished college. She went into business administration. They gave her a new car and a $35,000 bonus for starting. And she didn't
Jesus.
have mother or father because they both was in the penitentiary ever since she was a kid. They was in there for life. So I don't want to hear nothing about all this mother and father that's holding me back, and I got issues because I'm mad with my mother. You grown now. Get out of the house and don't go back. You don't have that problem. I never had my mother interfere in my marriage at all. None at all. Matter of fact, my mother only visited me one time. I went to visit her, but she only visited me one time. And the only reason she came to visit her sister because her sister was sick, so she just came to my house. I never had that issue. And
Wow.
I know a lot of other people didn't have that issue. This is just something to make money on. That's all that is. You telling people, cause I've even heard people say, "Oh, I didn't know I had a mother issue until I talked to Jesse Lee Peterson. Now I know I got a mother issue."
well, but Jesse's he's somewhat of a therapist when it comes to it. Like some people don't know about their issues until they go to a therapist or a counselor. Do you believe in counselors and
Really,
therapists?
Jesse Lee Peterson, I tell him to his face, he's a hypocrite.
Oh Lord.
He's a hypocrite. That's what he is, and he all he does is just mislead people. That's all.
But that's not fair to say that about someone because here's the thing. Okay, and I know. Listen. When my kids were younger, and we were raising our kids, and they were just they would come home all the time and say my teacher was not being fair, or this person not the coach not being fair, and blah blah. This person's not being fair, and I always used to tell them that life is not fair. But you got to figure it
There you
out and
go.
keep it moving. You
There
can't
you go.
complain about it. But I'm not a big believer in therapy. Why? Because I haven't been to a therapist and I haven't seen nor experienced the magic that comes from bearing your soul to a stranger who's trained and educated enough to be able to just listen to what you're talking about, asking the correct questions, and get you to get to the bring out the real issues that's going on in your life. Now, Jesse Lee Peterson just so happens to be one of those type of individuals. Now, you call him a hypocrite, but you already know. I'm certain you are a Bible believing gentleman yourself,
Why you
right?
say that? Why do
Because
you
you
say that?
you operate that way with this with the poise and the patience of someone who believe in God's love and God's law. Now, if I'm wrong, I've been wrong before many times, and I don't mind being wrong.
Oh, I
I'm
do
not the
believe
type
in
person.
God. 100%. I do believe in God. That's for real. I'm not a big churchgoer, but I do believe in God. Yes.
Okay, I'm not a church
But
goer, but you.
here's the only thing is that it's one thing I'm not going to do
Uh-huh.
is let somebody tell me how life and everything's supposed to be, and you get married, have kids, raise a family, you know, when you've never been down that path yourself. You know what I'm saying? So you cannot sit there and tell me about how to raise kids or how to deal with my wife when you never had a wife, you never had any kids. If you have any, you didn't raise them. So you can't tell me nothing about that. You can't. The only man can tell me what's up the road is the man that's on his way back, not a man that's never been up the road.
I can
So
respect
I
that,
don't want to
sir.
hear. I don't want to hear that from Oprah or nobody else that haven't had any kids, haven't raised any kids, and tell me how I'm supposed to raise my family, or how I'm supposed to raise kids. I'm not going to hear that from Jesse Lee Peterson, nobody else.
And
You know.
I
Now we can sit down and have a conversation about that. If you have kids and you have a family, we can sit down and talk about that. But if you never raised any kids and you out here just flapping on how it's supposed to go, you don't know how it's supposed to go. And you don't know everybody, you don't know everybody's mother, you don't know everybody's wife. So those comments to me doesn't mean anything.
I'm with you on that though. I mean, you didn't say anything that I don't agree with. You didn't say
Yeah.
anything that I don't agree with. Although I do understand that there are still people out there who have a great deal of knowledge that's able to help you out in matters that they have not personally experienced. You look at Tyler Perry, how many people he has helped out, how many people he have like he just dropped little nuggets in his productions. Look at all of his TV shows, movies, and whatnot. What he's doing is just showing that I do have an understanding of certain things going on in the world, and I'm going to drop them off to you, although I have never experienced it. He's never been married. He's never had children. Same thing with Oprah. Same thing with Oprah. She's never been married. She don't have any children, but she's a
Right.
leader. She's a leader of many because she understands life itself. She has great experiences and she has a gift of discernment at a certain point. Now, people look at her as the devil. People look at Tyler Perry as, the things that he promote could potentially come off negative as well. And only mention them because they are staples in our community, in the black community. And any black person that don't know Tyler Perry and don't know Oprah, they're they're living in the woods some daggone where. And I'm certain you know of them. I'm not saying that part, but here's the thing. I have the same mentality as you. I have an issue with the leaders all over the internet who are teaching young men how to be husbands. They're teaching young men how to be fathers. They're teaching young men how to do a whole array of things that they've never experienced themselves. But sometimes I got to sit down, sit back, and just look at this from the scope of the young men who are listening to they're respectfully listening to a man who does have life experiences, but and from the information that he's given, some common sense will come from that. And I can't say that anything that I've heard Jesse Lee Peterson say specifically about, I mean, as far as giving people advice in how to move on in life was wrong. Now, he said some things that I bucked against a few times, and I lost a few of his supporters because to his supporters, Jesse Lee Peterson is right all the time. I call him a troll, but I also believe that he has nuggets that he can drop off to people and can help them with their own families, although he don't have one of his own. But you don't believe that.
No, I mean, look, I'm speaking about me. I mean, if somebody else think Jesse Lee Peters can help them, hey, farewell to them. It's
Hmm.
nothing he could tell me about raising a family. Not at all. Because I've been somewhere he haven't been. And I
Yeah,
have seen something he haven't seen.
yeah,
And that's years. That's
yeah.
years in life. I've seen more years in life than he has. Matter of fact, I'm just a year older than him anyway, you know.
Right,
And
right.
but Jesse Lee Peterson, he could do well, but he's a fake and he's a hypocrite. And I have proof of that. I'm not speaking about what somebody would tell me. I have proof of that. And I'm gonna ask you one question now. Do you think that the civil rights movement was the worst thing that ever happened to black people?
No.
And he does. He preaches that all the time. That he said that the civil rights movement is an abortion.
Well,
Now that's what he believes. But here's the thing: if it is, he says that. Here's where the hypocritical part comes in. He
Mhm.
says that, but soon as he get kicked out of the gym, he got kicked out of gym in Los Angeles because he would not leave a room that they told him to leave. So he got kicked out, and then he turned around and files a civil rights movement. He filed a civil rights case against him.
He files a
How
civil suit.
hypocritical is that?
He files a
He
civil.
filed a civil rights suit against Econom's gym. He won it.
Okay.
He won it.
Uh-huh.
But now,
So,
if the civil rights movement is so bad, he says the worst thing that ever happened to black people. Why would you file a civil rights case?
okay, so
You only want it. You only want it when it affects you, but if it affects everybody else, it's wrong.
okay. All right, so
That's
what
the problem
about
I have with Jesse Peterson.
all right, so what about the civil rights movement does he not like? Does he not like the laws
Not
that
in
were
every.
hold does he not like civil laws that are in the books that we can use as citizens of the country, or
Well,
do he not like the way that they went about bringing people together? The people who were on the forefront, the ones with the mics in their face, that was giving the speeches and telling people how to move and telling people how to think. What parts of it? Because it's not all encompassing all the time. It might be one or two things about that just really set them off, or is the whole entire movement itself and the laws
well,
that
he
came
said
from it.
he did not like the whole movement of the civil rights movement. He says the worst thing that ever happened to black people. I don't know if he even fully understands what the civil right mean, what the meaning of civil right. So if he's saying he doesn't like the civil right movement, he doesn't like having a fair trial. He doesn't like the right to vote. He don't like the right of fair housing because all these are civil right movements, you know. And if he said he's against that, then I feel that there's something very wrong with this man to go against that. I
Okay.
mean, and especially the way he was brought up in the time that he was brought up. You know, when there were certain places that, like, we had a lot of singers like B.B. King, Albert King, Ray Charles. When they traveled, most of them had to sleep in their cars. They couldn't
Mm-hmm.
rent a hotel. They
Mm-hmm.
couldn't even go in and use the bathroom. They had to use the bathroom across the field.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then when it did get a little better, they had to get something like a certain map. They would go and get a map, places they could stop where they could get service or get gas. There was just only certain places, a few places they could do that in.
Mm-hmm.
So they would have to have that in order to make their journey. And then
Okay.
the civil rights movement was for everybody to be able to use public facilities,
Okay.
hotels, bathroom, restaurant. So now as he's against all that and he thinks that's so bad, he can go back to it. That's all he have to do. Why don't he start doing it?